as you mentioned, Marcello, is very important, the dice roll in this matchup, because it is not about if Eleonora chooses to go first or second, rather than if Dhmhtrios had won the dice roll and if he gave away his strategy by letting Eleonora go first. And I really want to see if Eleonora has already addressed this problem and summoning Puhalos, obviously, but it's a very good normal summon for the Yami strategy in order to go to Almiraj and have all the special summon from the hand Yami's monster.
And that's definitely the best Yami you can open. The good news, I guess, for Eleonora at least, is that usually Gimme Puppet doesn't really play Entrops. It's on a lot of Field Breakers spells, and so most likely she should be free to do whatever she wants. But then we do know if there is one deck that really struggles against the Field Breakers, it is Yami, the pure version. Like, I feel like Mitsurugi really gave the deck an additional way, you know, with the prayers or maybe, you know, even purification in the main deck to have additional interruptions. But if you are not really setting up anything else, it's gonna be a bit rough. But for now, as mentioned, she can do whatever she wants, and most likely we're gonna end, you know, and try to end on an Herald of the Arclight. Ooh, but we decide to give up Didi Crow. Wow.
Maybe this is an indication that Eleonora has a lot of engine in her hand, and she wants to extend in order to make a very strong field. If she lost the dice roll and Dhmhtrios told her to go first, I think this is a good option in order to establish a very good field. However, you need to have defenses that are not shown.
Yeah, no, otherwise it's just, you know, you cannot control this. I mean, if she really wants to push enough here and that's her only choice, it may be risky. But on the other hand, like, if she's really obliged to do that, it's just, you know, what is gonna happen next.
Yep. But in general, what do you guys think of Didi Crow at the moment as an Entrap, especially in the main deck?
It is one of those hand-ups that has some potential in order to address problems like Urgula to 5 mana, address obviously the Mitsurugi cards because they tend to activate prayers into the draw phase in order to play around draw. So sometimes it's better against decks instead of, for example, bestials like Magnamut. And I think it's a quite interesting meta call, to be fair. It's not one of those cards, but it's usually in the spot of Bell, so you can discuss if you prefer Bell right now or Didi Crow in the current meta state.
I mean, I think it's okay. For Jordan Lock, honestly, for example, we talked about with Jean Alex in the meta breakdown discussion. It's really a matter of how you really feel like approaching into the event, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's gonna be either the Jordan Lock Bird or also the Artifact Lancia, which has become super popular over the last weeks. But Didi Crow for sure, it's an interesting choice, and I mean, I really feel like that the more you play with the deck, the more you can be comfortable with certain interruption or head traps. And I mean, as you also mentioned, I think it would be very important to understand if Eleonora won the die roll or if Dhmhtrios let her go first. But I guess we will find out in game.
Another interesting point here, I think, and we'll see if Eleonora comes back, you know, this decision comes back to bite her. When she activated the surprise, she chose to special summon the Marshmallow from end, essentially foregoing one extra piece. Because what you can do in that spot is you can bring back the Capsi from grave and then activate Marshmallow, special summon, and get the surprise. So in this case, she would have one additional Yami monster on the field. Maybe she wants to play around Canines because Marshmallow is the only one who, you know, could actually activate instead of special summon, and so maybe that's the decision, but it seems like, I mean, one extra body wouldn't hurt.
You think that discarding Didi Crow is maybe an indication that she won actually the dice roll? Because I don't think that if your opponent lets you go first, that you discard hand wraps.
I think for sure it's a bit of a miscalculation anyways, because if you think about it, she was not interrupted, and then she chose to use the surprise to special summon Marshmallow from the end. So in that spot, if you want to go for that line, you can just discard the Marshmallow, keep the Didi Crow in hand, and then you just special summon it from grave, and it does the same thing. So she could have right now an additional Didi Crow in hand for no cost. So unfortunately, you know, maybe the emotions kicking in. It's still early in the morning, you know, and can't really blame her.
And I mean, you need somewhere around in order to be into the zone for a YCS, because, as you said, the first 1-2 rounds are more, you know, just to understand the game stage, understand how you feel about the event.
And this is a big reveal. Okay, we do see what we wanted. Essentially here we needed non-engine. And we got Dominus Purge, which it's pretty good if you ask me. Seems like Dhmhtrios is asking about the Yummy cars, which is a bit surprising. Maybe he has not played that much.
How do you feel about Pert with Dhmhtrios? It's quite interesting, right?
I mean, I really feel like that also Eleonora is, she plays a lot, you know, she plays a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, she tests a lot, and I mean, it would be also interesting to ask her if she's gonna be the winner of this match, some of her choices, both in the main deck and in the side deck. But I also really liked her approach in this game one in terms of she just went all in essentially. This is what I have, let's just try it out.
Yeah.
And no interruption from Dhmhtrios, which now hopefully we'll get to see some of his Gimmick Puppet deck in action. So
yeah, and first and foremost, let's see if he has one of these field breakers. No, not quite.
But Mansion, the field spell, is one of those cards that you really want to see in the Gimmick Puppet deck. It is the card that lets you advance, and it has quite an interesting effect, and lets you, when this card is activated, that you can add one Gimmick Puppet monster from the deck to your hand, and also your Gimmick Puppet monsters cannot be destroyed by battle and are unaffected by the effects of your opponent's monster, except for their Xyz, which in this case they're synchros, obviously.
Yeah, it's a really rough card for the deck. Considering we didn't set up an SP, which we also could have gone for, you know, IP into SP maybe as an additional way to get off this protection effect. So it might even be worth considering negating it here.
And in the Gimmick Puppet, to be honest, there is a little mind game in order to when is the proper time to activate Rank Up Magic Numeron Force.
Oh, and that's huge. We do use the Herald, but there is Cold by the Grave, and this is absolutely devastating if you're Eleonora. Sure, we can chain our Yummy, but now we are in a rough spot because the Mansion resolves. We can't even negate the add effect. And yeah, as you can see, we're just gonna chain our Yummy, but what does that even do? Mansion, as you said, Mike, just it's literally similar to the Tempai, you know, field spell, and it protects, makes your monster unaffected. I mean, it's good. The unaffected effect is there, so that's what you care about. I also like the second effect, honestly.
The one that you detach and then essentially special summon one of your Gimmick Puppet monsters from the graveyard. I mean, I think the deck is scary. I mean, if you don't know it, it's definitely scary.
Yeah, that's brutal. And I think Dhmhtrios is still thinking whether he wants to chain, but no, he lets it go through. And yeah, this is not so relevant at the moment. We can just get more monsters on the field, but what do we go from there? Yes.
I think that you need to change the filter right now.
But
yeah, there's no reason to keep the this filter from Yummy. You need to go to a Croaky in order to have one more interruption and maybe deal with Mansion.
He's debating his options, put a card face down. Let's see if he's happy with it. And yes, it is indeed. So it's gonna be the Little Soldiers added to the end. One of the best starters for the deck. And here is also where possibly Eleonora will regret even more not having that Dhmhtrios. And this is quite rough, because also differently from the Sangen Summoning, Dimension grants protection effect even during the battle phase. But as we can see here, since we are playing pure Yummy, this is the way out. We can access a Croaky, And then if we go into a synchro, we can just use the Akruki to destroy the mansion, which I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, there is no reason for you to not destroy the mansion right now, because you need to have a cookie on as a backup plan in order to set 2 of your opponent monsters face down, which is very strong against the Gimmick puppet.
Very good find from Eleonora here, and as you can see, she's gonna access a synchro summon. And this way, the only annoying... but never mind.
It's
Card
close to send, by the way.
Straight from the new structure deck. The Fallen and the Virtues, what a card.
Do you think that it has shaped the meta right now?
I mean, I really feel like it's the card is very new, and when there are like new cards, if you're not experienced to play against those, I feel like you also expect them less to be played. But in this situation, I really feel like in the field this weekend is going to be one of those cards that could really make the difference, to be fair. I think the card is super powerful, gives you so many different options. And at the end of the day, like as mentioned, the surprise factor always helps in this kind of events, right? We saw it with Matteo in round 1, he decided to play the Fire King, although, you know, this is one definitely of the deck which has not been played super popularly. And on the other hand, of course, I think that a card like the Fallen and the Virtues, it's definitely like very synergic. So you can play it in different decks, different strategies, and you can adapt also your deck. I really like it, honestly. I think it's a very good addition.
And it is one of those cards that I really love the fact that it is very good, obviously going first and going second.
Yes, yeah.
I think... no, I was thinking, okay, Eleonora lets it through, because I think there was a huge play here she could have made, because I think there is an additional effect of surprise, no?
To swap.
To swap.
Yeah.
So I think this would have been a huge find where you can, it's almost never used, but the third effect says that you can return a field spell to the end and then place it again. So I think in this case, this might have been huge, because if you just save the Akruki from destruction, then everything goes through.
Yeah, it is. Back in the day, I mean, before some months.
This looks like it's been a while,
When September.
When Yami mirrors were very famous, it was the play in order to play around SP Little Knight or Cosmic Cyclone.
Yep. And I think, unfortunately, she did not find it, and now she's again a bit in trouble.
But I mean, Akroki, I think it is hard once per turn, so I don't think that you can
but
also...
she didn't use it already. Because Dhmhtrios activated it in response to the effect of Yami to synchro, so it was not in response of Akruki to pop. So I guess both didn't take that effect into consideration if you think about it that way. But I mean, as you can see now, the chain pretty much resolved. Eleonora, now I think she's realizing a bit too late, unfortunately, and she's just gonna access all the names. To the Lollipo and Cookie engrave, but I mean,
you still have the bounce effect of the surprise, which is very relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. We still have a couple of interruptions. I mean, the purge can also be annoying, and Dhmhtrios has already been through 3 cards, we could say. So he has obviously the little soldiers, but let's see. It's gonna be closer than it looks, but could have been even easier for Eleonora. Oh, but now we go and activate it now. Okay, fair enough. You can just do it after, I guess. But yeah, she realizes it, and although she could have done it in the same chain, she does it in a new open chain. The only thing here is that now we are forced to go for another synchro summon, I guess. But no, she just waits it out. Okay. At least, I mean, better late than never. And Dhmhtrios has to ponder his option really well.
What did she take in the end? The Purge, right?
Yeah.
She has Purge, and the last card, I believe, is a Forbidden Droplet, actually, which is also going to be quite relevant. So, let's see. So now we move forward. Is it the Rouge Doll? Yeah, I believe so. So we do have the Rouge Doll in hand. So we can reveal an Xyz from our extra deck and special summon it.
And now we have Cookie, but I think that mustn't protect us from Cookie.
But we can chain it in a way where it works, no? Because we can
Chain
use
one Cookie, chain
one
two
Chuki,
Krogi.
and this is exactly what she's doing. So good catch from Eleonora. Well played until now. So yeah, this is gonna work because as you see, a Kruki destroys the mansion. Now they're not unaffected, and the little soldier will be answered possibly. I mean, I think sending might be cost because then it copies like either the level or the name. Yeah, the level. Yeah, it is cost.
So just to explain the chain link before, is that when you synchro summon Cookie, can target up to face-up monsters on the field and set it face down, and also Kroki has the additional effect that when you synchro summon, you can destroy one card of your opponent, and you can, in this scenario, chain one Cookie to target the Gimmick puppet monsters can't be targeted, but they are unaffected eventually from mansion, but then chain link to a Kroki to destroy the mansion.
Yeah, so here we can chain to the cost, and I believe this is gonna work out because basically the Rouge doll can add itself back, but since we are the turn player, the way the chain would work is that if we get the lolly, we can banish it as chain link 2. But okay, yeah, she's thinking about it. It should be Cookie. Yep, that works. So now in a new chain, Dhmhtrios will activate the Rouge doll as chain link 1, since he's the turn player, and then we can chain the lolly, and as Eleonora is doing, banish it and also pop the soldiers. And I think that's gonna be it. Well played by Eleonora. Emotions are there, but she managed to fight through them, and in the end, her opening was just a bit much. And I gotta say, the good news for her is she didn't even have to use her non-engine. So both Purge and Droplet were still face down at the end of this match, and this should give her confidence, because I mean the beginning seemed extremely rough, you know. You use the Herald and you're met by the one-off Call by the Grave. That's never a good feeling, but well played.
And I mean, I really like the fact that she didn't be scared about Gimmick Puppet. She knew what, how to interact, what cards she needed to stop, and as Marcello mentioned, she only played with her engine in order to address any potential problem from Dhmhtrios.
I mean, I think she addressed it very well, especially because her starting end was, I think, was good. Of course, like playing against such a deck, if you're not familiar with it, you may have troubles and issues, which was not the case because I think she navigated it quite well, I would say. And on the other hand, I feel like also Dhmhtrios, maybe it's not super familiar with Yami, because like he was going through some effects from Eleonora, having a read, and I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's important to try and win those matches as much as possible for like if you play Yami, for example, because you don't really want to face those decks, especially because if you're not familiar with that, you can make mistakes when activating your opponent's hand. But, you know, here, what do you think? Dhmhtrios is going to go second once again?
Yeah, I mean, the Gimmick Puppet strategy really needs to go second right now.
Yeah.
I think that going first has a lot of problems that probably gets addressed by side deck options, but are non-engine side deck options like Solemns and, you know, strong trap cards. But in any case, when you choose to go first or second, I think that most of the time you choose to go second with Gimmick Puppet right now.
Yeah, surely, and I mean, especially given the main deck that he's playing, he would need to take out too many of these, you know, field-breaking spells, and that's not going to be quite the case. Eleonora on her own, I'm not so sure how familiar she is with the deck. Again, if you have just a short memory like about the deck, maybe she's still at the, okay, he's going to go first, try to combo off, and then that might lead to, you know, some mistakes in how you side deck, because we saw how important the Akruki is. And usually that is a card that you take out when you're going second, but it would be a huge blunder in this case. So hopefully that is not going to be it, but they have done their side decks already, so why don't we just jump back into action?
And right now I want to see the mini mind games between the two players. If Eleonora has addressed this issue that potentially she is going to go first and has side out all the Malchalmis, for example. But I think that I see
he's going
Dhmhtrios
first.
is going first actually.
Wow, are you surprised? I am. Honestly, I am. Especially because, like, looking at his side deck, there are a lot of different cards for going second.
Yeah.
A lot.
But maybe he just got too scared from the previous opener, and let's see.
I really want to see how Gimmick Puppet has adjusted into the current meta state and obviously for being a limited list, and how they can address the fact that they potentially go first. And since Dhmhtrios chose to go first, I want really to experience how he's going to establish a very strong field in order for Eleonora to struggle going second. As we saw before, Little Soldier has been summoned in order to send the Gimmick. Which one it is? Beast Doll, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the best card in the deck by far. The Rouge Doll does so much for the deck.
And we kind of see an XC strategy against the Synchro strategy, which is quite interesting.
So here we add the access this cattle screen.
Oh, and we see As to Fugalos, which is very interesting.
Okay.
That's big.
Yeah, this is the answer that you need to have.
Yeah.
So Little Soldier has changed its level, that's why he can be used for Exis material.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's good because you summon the Machinix. That's how you pronounce it. And yeah, it's now it takes one of the key cards of the deck, which is the rank up, of course. And I mean, as mentioned, I think the deck is very good. Well, putting pressure onto your opponent, especially because of the many exquisite summon that he can perform. And I think at this stage, when you have the rank up in hand, you can surely overextend this. It's just about here, Dhmhtrios is just having a thought on how to continue this.
And yeah, here we're going to use the rank up, and at least Fugalos suggests that Eleonora had a good read, because it's definitely the first card you would take out if you were to go first.
And I think it is also an indication that she probably won the dice roll. Otherwise, if your opponent let you go first, I don't think that you keep Fugalos.
For sure, no.
Yeah, and here we see the CXYZ Gimmick Puppet Machinix, which is very good because one summon he gets the service puppet play, which acts a sort of brain control during your opponent turn or whatever, because essentially you get to target most of your opponent controls up to the number of Gimmick Puppet monsters, exquisite monster you have, and take control of those monsters. I think it's very nice. And especially because now you also get to use the field spell dimension to detach one material, bring back one of your monsters in the graveyard, and then go for another exquisite summon in the form of number 40. Yeah. So pretty very good start, honestly, here from Dhmhtrios. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see Eleonora having a read that all of these effects, definitely not one of those strategies you think you're gonna face off necessarily against in this event, and here is where you need to adapt quickly.
To be fair though, I still believe that Gimmick Puppet are very strong going second in order for you to choose to go first.
Yeah.
I think that utilizing Numeron Force, the rank up card, is very, very important, and I truly believe that even if this is quite an interesting field, I think that going second is very, very strong for Gimmick Puppet in order to let your opponent go second.
I mean, I think the deck is also good in terms of if you win game 2, having started going first, I think you also have the advantage of, okay, my opponent knows that I can win going first, and going second I can side in all the Mole Charmies, for example. So you also have that advantage.
Ooh.
giving our opponents free stuff. So special the Machinics into our opponent field from the effect of Fanatics
Yes.
Machinics. It's like having the upgraded version and giving our opponent the outdated one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I think it's nice because essentially you. Oh, there's the bell. Okay, never mind. I mean, here I think it really depends on Eleonora's end. I mean, because she has 3 cards in hand, and I feel like maybe Dhmhtrios is not done yet. He's just considering his options.
No, and it's actually a pass.
Okay.
So
However,
yeah.
you need to remember that in the pure Yami strategy, having a monster that is not something like a Link 1 is very, very important because you cannot activate Engage or Obedience School.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a very good strategy to counteract, honestly, the Yami deck. And here, yeah, you just have to crush. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense, and yeah, this is exactly what's gonna happen. So,
But what I'm thinking also is, if this is your goal, right, to have your opponent having a monster on the field, not to activate the Engage or any other cards, why don't summon the Exquisite Monsters in defense? Because if you give them the Gimmick Puppet, it's 1500 attack, and the Exquisite is 1500 defense, and the number 4 is 2000. So.
definitely that would have been a heads-up play, because as you can see, it would have shut down the Sky Striker cards. That wasn't quite the case, and now Eleonora will play in Memphis 2.
I think that maybe Dhmhtrios didn't expect to be interrupted by Bell. That's why he summoned both monsters in attack position. But in any case, the best way is to summon him in defense, just to be sure that if anything goes wrong, that you have a backup plan. Because right now, Eleonora was really struggling against having a monster that cannot be used for a Link 1 in order for activating Sky Striker Engage.
Yeah, she's just gonna make sure to read this mention again. They are indeed unaffected by her monsters. So she needs to access again this Akruki, but yes, this does work, the Infinite Impermanence.
What else do you have?
Wow. Oh, that's huge.
And we talk about the fact that having a monster can mess up an Obedience and Engage card, but she had both, which was very, very important.
And although we have seen less of Obedience in the Yamimitsu Rugi version, I mean, in the pure, it's limited for a reason. The card is an absolute powerhouse. As you can see here, accessing 3 names, and just so difficult to interrupt the deck once you access that card.
Yeah, I mean, Eleonora also knows that the set card is most likely the Service Puppet play that was added from Dhmhtrios in the previous turn, and she just needs to remember that essentially Dhmhtrios, yes, that's what's going to happen. So it's going to take control of those monsters until the end phase.
And this is the best options that you have as a Gimmick Puppet player, because otherwise, if Eleonora goes to Snatchy and have the potential to synchro summon anything that will be targeted later, Dhmhtrios would be way back into the game, because Eleonora can just change Snatchy and synchro summon the targeted monsters.
And yeah, as mentioned, now we do access this Akruki. We need to get rid of Mansion, otherwise we pretty much cannot play the game. And yeah, as you can see here, that's exactly going to be the case, I believe.
And also it gives a protection from Nibiru, which is also very important.
Yep. But is there a protection effect on the strings?
And I think right now Dhmhtrios doesn't have any more interruptions, right?
Yeah.
At least
Ah,
not
okay.
that we can see. Maybe hand wraps, but I think that in his strategy he mainly focused on field breaker cards. So
I don't think he even has cards in hand.
yeah,
I think
not
he's-
at all.
Yeah. I don't think he has anything in hand. As you can see, like he's, you know,
I think that he has 2 cards. To be honest, no.
aware.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think he has 1 of 2 cards somewhere. Yes.
But where? Because
yeah.
they are not.
I think yeah, they are. Yeah.
I mean, he's not a magician like you, Mike. On your intro, I don't think you know, sleight of hand is allowed. But yeah, as you can see here, absolutely great play by Eleonora, using the surprise to bounce and then chaining to get into a synchro.
I told you
he
that he
does
had.
have.
Yeah.
They were not on site at all.
This is the magic of Greek players.
Yeah, Greek magic. I see you. But yeah, that's huge. Because now we get the Marshmallow back. We can add back this surprise. And we have pretty much dismantled the field. So really a good showcase of the Yummy Pure deck from Eleonora.
Well, because essentially Dhmhtrios is left with 1 card in hand, and the Yummy monsters will be back to Eleonora's field at the end of the turn. So
yeah, this is rough.
yeah.
This is a good spot though to interact, because you cannot change Snatch at least right now. But
What else? Prosperity?
Oh
you called
wow!
it. Oh, it's in the perma column to be fair, but it was activated from the hand.
Yeah.
Well, once again, the Prosperity really helping her out, and I think she's also banishing 6 because, I mean, it really depends on here. Oh no, okay, just 3, but you really need to fetch something that may also be an interruption. Let's see.
Yeah, you have
Okay,
the
there's the
Dhmhtrios.
Dhmhtrios. Okay, yeah, this is what you were looking for. It's quite good. And I feel like against the...
He doesn't get to shuffle, I think.
Oh, yeah, no, because I think they didn't
Yeah.
shuffle before, so they just shuffle just in case and put the other ones on the bottom. Yeah.
Then why she drew from Prosperity?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, anyways, yeah. Well, the deck is now shuffled. I mean, very good showcase from Eleonora, honestly.
We see that the last card in hand is another Ghost Bell, so not quite what Dhmhtrios was looking for. Only 1 real card now.
Now he has a hand, huh?
Yeah, now he does. Greek magic again. And yeah, this is the last card available to him, but it seems like he needs a lot more than this to fight back. And this is the Fiendish Knight, I think.
Yeah. But it targets. So I think it is a quite good spot maybe to Dhmhtrios.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah.
what she's asking for.
Say one.
Yeah, you can just change your
Capsi,
synchro and then
change to-
use
yeah.
Dhmhtrios and call it a day. The only thing is the Yummies were summoned from Obedience, no? The one they took control,
Oh,
so they should
yeah,
be,
they should be destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, they realized. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that this changed a lot actually, because right now Eleonora
Yeah.
doesn't have something to synchro summon, so maybe Dhmhtrios can change his strategy in order to
I
not
mean,
provide monsters.
Slightly, because basically here what happens is she can chain, but then Ghost Bell shuts it off. And yeah. Oh, we're not using it. Let's see. And yeah, we do use the Ghost Bell, but we have Surprise from Eleonora, so we can use this Dhmhtrios, we can use Surprise, and I think we might still be good at the end of the day, but we do have an additional interrupt, which is that in the graveyard we can also use the trap effect and bring back an Xyz Master from Dhmhtrios. But I don't know how far that gets you, to be fair. And yeah, no DD Crow though. Wow. Really?
Ooh, okay.
Maybe we keep it for the trap, that's why. For the target of the
No,
trap.
I think she's gonna use an on the trap, but then we can just... Okay. I guess we just try to go for the cookie to put them both face down now.
You need to control it.
Oh,
Gimmick puppet exist in order
okay,
to
this
activate
way. Okay.
the effect of puppet's play.
And yeah, as you can see here, we can just go into a synchro, and either we use the cookie, which has not been used yet, or we use the cookie to put them both face down. And
I think
we can also use
just
both, no?
use cookie right now.
Yeah, and yeah, this seems like there is not all that much that Dhmhtrios can do, because also we have not used Mignon in this duel. So here we have an easy way to play the game, which is just turning this into, again, Snatchy, getting Mignon, and then we are good to go.
Yeah, and I think right now Dhmhtrios doesn't have any more
Oh,
cards.
unless we have been through 3 Snatchy. Have we used all 3?
Or maybe she banished one.
Oh,
she,
yeah,
she
used 3. Ooh, that's interesting, actually. Because we have DD Crow.
Oh, wow.
Oof. Because the... Wow. Does this open the game again?
Because she also banished 3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's public knowledge
Wow.
to see the difference, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but the issue is both have recursion effects. Because if you attack the Fiendi, she can... basically both, when they're sent to the graveyard, you can get back to the end. So it's not like attacking over them will do all that much. And yeah, you can see Eleonora now really struggling and passing back. Wow, what seemed like a game was over. Unfortunately, all 3 snatches were used, and what a draw. I
mean, at this point, you really want to activate cookie.
Yeah.
The effect of terraforming
for sure.
instead of purge, because you can actually purge the mansion.
Yeah. I mean, again, emotions getting to Eleonora a little bit, as you can see here, correct. And you can see Eleonora just shaking her head. And I think, yeah, she might even pick up her card soon. She's really unhappy with herself. And yeah, now, wow, what a game this has been. And sometimes, I know, you're playing with this top deck game. Yeah, you can see her shaking her head. She knows she did a great job at breaking the field, but this is not quite what she wanted. Indeed, I agree with you, Mike. To the terraforming, you can just chain the cookie, and that way you keep everything in check. And
but we need to address the fact that she didn't expect to have went all 3 snatches, so all the emotions are there. You know, when your plan is messed up, you really get frustrated, and it's very, very logical to maybe don't be fully locked in.
The only issue now is she aware of the time? Because there are about 12 minutes remaining, and I think this is one of those moments where just pick up your cards and call it a day. Even though you were close, you don't want to risk it, and that's exactly what she does. We are going to game 3. Wow. What a match, really. I mean, you can tell how, you know, playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not just about drawing your cards and playing it out. A lot more factors come into play, and yeah, you can see Dhmhtrios smiling. He's like, oh, I think like I dodged a bullet there, you know. And he really did. And I mean, emotions are a part of the game, and I'm sure Eleonora now will try her best to stay focused and pretty much repeat what she has been doing. I feel like she has dominated this match all along, but now she's possibly, you know, just 1 game away from losing it, and this has to feel, you know, quite strange.
I think that she zoned out when she saw the 3 snatches in the graveyard.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that she didn't expect, because she didn't keep up with it. But it's very, very important, as we say every time, that the mentality when you play the game to be focused. Everything can happen, and as we can see, we can also see the other side of the coin. There are cases that you may think that you are going to lose, but everything can happen in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, and you can take a win regardless any scenarios.
I mean, she really needs to keep her nerves very steady and reset, essentially. I know that for sure, like, she was in control of the game, but she still has another one to redeem herself.
Absolutely.
And I mean, she's experienced. She's been on stage multiple times. She's been on the casting desk as well. She plays master duels. And I mean, from this point of view, I'm sure that she can surely do that, but she really needs to be calm and think about that there's still one more game to be played.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you really think about that, if it would have been for that small misplay, maybe she could have won 2-0. So essentially, she was in control of the game as well.
Let's stay focused onto this one, because there are 10 minutes remaining, and obviously for anyone who might have missed it, I know since just a couple months we have a new rule for our Yu-Gi-Oh events, and so it would end in a double loss if time was to end. So both duelists for sure will try to avoid this possibility, and I think, you know, they're gonna try their best. Game one, I don't think took that long, so that's a possibility. But I'm sure Dhmhtrios is not happy with that. He wants to change things up, and as you can see, he has already done with his side deck.
And I mean, Gimmick Puppet, that is a strategy that goes second. It is one of those interesting scenarios that you really, when attending an event like a YCS, that you are thinking that maybe is not the right choice, because it takes so much long to let your opponent establish a field, go second, try to play through that field, and then trying to win the game and do it for game 1, game 2, and potentially game 3.
Yeah.
But regardless, they are giving us a show, but only one can advance with an undefeated record. Let's find out who it's going to be. Let's see, Eleonora should be going first right now.
I mean, as you both mentioned, Eleonora is very experienced with Yami. She showcased that she really knows the interaction, she really knows how to play the deck, but I think that she just needs to be focused, and she can totally take the win.
I think I see some Mulcharmi in the end from Dhmhtrios. Let's see which one it's going to be. Oh, that's a spicy way to start things off here with the inscription. Such a good card against, you know, Dracotail and a lot of decks this weekend, but I guess it works out well in this matchup too. Probably
the second effect, I think.
Yeah, even the first one is good though, not activating effect. Yeah, both are fair. I mean, to be fair, everyone has some merit, but even the third one to stop the field spell recursion effects, you know, and engage to follow it up. And yes, there is a Mulcharmi. Is it Fuvalos? And yeah, Dhmhtrios is asking for a translation, but in the meantime, Eleonora is free to do her Yami combo.
Addressing the current meta state, inscription mainly used for addressing Dracotail, obviously. But I really love the fact that...
Oh, and it's Fuvalos, though, that we have a response. We do not. That's big.
There is a suggestion that you keep Fuvalos for the summon of Kagari in order to play around, because otherwise they need to pass with Kagari instead of just summoning a Capsi, for example.
But maybe she doesn't have any Yummies.
Yeah, you have to take the bet that she doesn't have any more Yummies. Otherwise you can keep Fuvalos for the summon of Kagari.
I totally agree, but I don't think she has any, and so the bet worked out for Dhmhtrios, and we used the impulse here. Wow.
Really? Okay.
I feel like, yeah, you can. Oh, wow! And that's a brutal, yeah. That seems a bit unnecessary, because I feel like she would have used the Yami before, no? But I guess.
Well, she can like set something and pass also, right?
But that doesn't feel good for Eleonora.
How do you feel about Purulia in the main phase instead of the draw phase, for example?
I don't like it, but probably we can assume, I'm pretty sure he only had one Charmy, so he drew it with Fuva. I'm almost certain about that.
I mean, it plays counter out Mask Mao.
Yeah.
Well, she summons Didi Crow.
but that gives a draw and another draw. So is that really what we're gonna have to? So, wow, it's huge.
So she's continuing, right?
Yeah, she feels like she cannot stop, but giving so many draws to a deck that is playing field breakers doesn't seem like you know, a plan that's gonna bring good news. But I guess desperate means
And also 6 minutes to the clock.
yeah.
But don't forget that we have already activated inscription, which is important because it not only protects us from the turn that it has been activated, but also for the next turn.
Yeah. And here we get the surprise. The issue is, again, we have less than 6 minutes to play this game. And I think we are done, so we are just gonna set a couple cards. Pass back to Dhmhtrios, who has about 5 minutes to turn things around. So many good cards available, from Lightning Storm to Forbidden Droplet. Does he have some? And again, we start things off with that terraforming for the mansion. We have seen mansion as the first card all duels pretty much. But I mean, he has like 8 cards at this point in hand. It's fair that he finds everything, but I don't think he has non-engine. Is it really full engine? Wow, that's unfortunate.
That we need to starting address our synchro monsters and summoning not Cookie, the Lollipop synchro monster, in order to have more monsters and maybe go for Herald in our opponent's turn in order to have more interruption, because we need to generate advantage from the second effect of the synchro monsters in order to reborn monsters from the graveyard.
And here with the Condolence being activated, we pretty much have 4 minutes remaining on the clock.
I'm starting to be a bit worried.
Well, especially because I think the Gimme Puppet deck requires, you know, some moves just to, you know, extend your plays, and with so many cards in hand, Dhmhtrios as well may have different options to go for.
And yeah, I mean, going for the synchro would have been important also to play around Condolence, because it can only send monsters up to the monster special summon from the extra. So if you have a synchro and you chain it, basically it negates the card altogether.
Oh, she sided that in. Yeah.
Wow,
Apophis strategy.
that's spicy, but
Yes. Sebastian will be very, very proud right now.
But yeah, is that gonna work here though? Because you need another. Usually it's not the one you want to draw, no? You want Apophis the Serpent so that you can use it. Because alone it doesn't do anything. Because you need a second, no? Count continues. Didn't it say the other? I remember. Let me
Of
check.
other, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't really do anything here.
I usually want the Serpent, yeah.
I'm guessing she's playing Silhouette Rabbit as well in the deck, possibly.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
That didn't quite work out here, and as you can see, so many monsters are brought.
And only 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah,
also.
It's really, really worrying. Like, I don't see a universe in which Eleonora wins this game. Just because of time, I mean.
And Cookie right now, I think, doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because the field
due to mansion.
and I think she might have, unless she chains, but now she doesn't have enough names. Yeah,
I think that we are resolving right now, because
Yeah.
she just targeted 2 monsters and Dhmhtrios just said that I have mansion on the field.
Yeah, and you can see Eleonora shaking her head. Unfortunately, she has realized that just emotions and being short on time is not her friend. And I mean, it's heartbreaking to see, of course, because she has played so well throughout most of the match, and now, yeah, we are just pushing for damage, but also Dhmhtrios maybe forgetting that the push from the field spell is there. Oh my, wow, this is a crazy end of a match.
Is she really winning this one?
But the issue is, I mean, if it was for the all-time rules, this could have been devastating.
Yeah.
This could just result in a double loss, unfortunately, unless one of the duelists just out of sportsmanship decides to, you know, I don't know, just give up the game. But I don't think that's gonna be a possibility.
Like 1 minute on the clock. It's
yeah. I think this is pretty much gonna be it. I don't know. Maybe there is just a speed run from Eleonora, but it's really rough.
She needs to establish a lot of things
Let's
before going
see.
to battle phase.
40 seconds.
Can she speed
not
run?
even, no, because she draws and still it's not her turn. She just drew a card from the Capsi, but Dhmhtrios is still playing, and yeah, I mean, this is absolutely rough. The clock is ticking. Great match. Definitely not the ending we wanted to go and to have, but I mean, sometimes that's just how it is, and
This is one of those scenarios that you really want to avoid. But as we mentioned, Gimmick Puppet and generally speaking the going second strategies, this is one of the issues that they need to address. They need to play really fast, because you cannot afford going all the time go second with the current time system. And I think that we just saw the handshake, and I think unfortunately for this match, because it was a great match, we'll end on a double match loss.
yeah, I mean, again, maybe not the ending any of us were hoping for, but still shouldn't take anything away from you know, the action that we have witnessed. Both duelists giving their best, but we have always mentioned it. Playing on stream is never easy, and especially the first rounds into an event, you know, it's really not that you know, easy to come here, do what maybe you usually do at your locals events, and then you're playing at a tournament with 2,400 players with thousands of watchers, and you know, here also we have a huge crowd gathering, because we are always slightly behind the main event stage, and it's a lot of pressure, but still both have a chance to advance to day 2, so they shouldn't you know, let this match get to their heads. They've proven in some of the instances throughout the match that they're good players, that they're familiar with their deck, and what can we say? Dhmhtrios didn't look too familiar with the Yami deck. Eleonora more reasonably so, maybe she wasn't familiar with the Gimmick puppets, but yeah.
To be fair, she quite made very good choices reacting with Gimmick Puppet cards.
Yeah.
I believe that she was really in control of the game. The only issue was the thing with the 3 knights in the graveyard, which is, as we can say all the time, it's way different playing in the main event, playing in the local, and playing in the feature match. You have all the pressure and feeling all these eyes looking at you and every play you make, and you need to step up and be very confident and straightforward, and do not you know, mess up your thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it changes so much, especially because I think she really played extremely well game 1 and game 2, and then of course, like, if there's also one small misstep, it changes the game completely. But I feel like she's super experienced with the deck, and also we mentioned this before, when playing against such a deck like Gimmick Puppet, honestly it's not easy, because it's one of those decks which maybe fall a bit under the radar, but it's still there, because you know, with such a big field, over 2,400 players gathered here for YCS Bologna, it's one of those decks that honestly I think it's scary. And on the long run, if Dhmhtrios wins matches, honestly, it's one of those decks, if you're not familiar with, I think you maybe have a lot of troubles. So I think both of our duelists, I mean, it's a long run. We have other 7 matches throughout the day. I mean, hopefully we will get them on stream soon again.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far I think it was a good show of both decks, I would say. Yes, absolutely. Also,
how do you feel about going second strategies in the current meta state?
I think it's risky. You need to be brave. But I also feel like that those decks that have always been good going second are always good also like in 2025. It's one of those strategies that to me, of course, like there's a different approach. For example, you can play some field breakers rather than playing hand traps. It's really just a matter of how confident you are about your deck. I think this is something that has always been, the key of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, right? If you play a deck and you're familiar with it, you have play tested, and it's good in the current format, I think you just have to go for it. And I think also Dhmhtrios showed us that the deck is also good at going first, because I think it established a very good field. He has a lot of different interactions, and I think at the end of the day, it's also a matter of will my opponent let me go first or second if I let them go first. So it's just a matter of mind games as well, which is also nice to see. Yeah.
His general approach was, as I can understand right now, is that he wants to go second game one, and later he's just going to go first post side deck, because he plays a lot of hand ramp instead of field breakers. For example, we saw Ghost Bell. I think that we also saw the Ash Blossom for the Furulias. And I think it was quite a meta call in order to go second in the game one and later to try to go first.
Yeah, I think it was a very good show off, and we both enjoyed the Yummy and the Gimmick Puppet decks, and hopefully we will get to see more matches like this throughout the day with different decks. As we witnessed in Lille, as mentioned, I think every single round was a different deck, pretty much, and hopefully we will continue with this trend. And I really feel like that now it's also time for a small analysis from Jean-Alexis, who is ready and will bring us the analysis right on your way.
Yeah, indeed. We are going to talk a little bit more about this round two, because there is a lot to say about those games. We saw a very interesting matchup between Yummy and the Gimmick Puppet strategy. And of course, when you are thinking about the tournament, you always think about the Yummy strategy, but the Gimmick Puppet strategy, instead, you don't always think about it. And it is very interesting to see this choice, because of course, it surprises the opponent. And you can take advantage of that, which was indeed very useful during these games. But starting things off, we saw Eleonora start with the normal summon of the Fuvalos, and of course we went literally uninterrupted during the first turn, which is pretty cool, because we know that the Yummy strategy is very, very good going first. So we put the Herald, and the Herald is very good interruptions, very good interaction in the meta game, very good against, of course, the Dracotail matchup, which is very, very, very present in the room today. And then the Gimmick Puppets player started to play, and we saw that the first very good interaction was the Call by the Grave on the Herald, which is of course very good to try to get rid of this card and to try to get rid of a very strong interaction, because it is of course an Omni-Negate. But still, there was a lot to do in this game, and we saw that a very good card was being used by the Gimmick Puppet player. We tried to get rid of the field spell, the Gimmick Puppet field spell, the Mansion, but we had here a very good card, which was the Fallen of Dhmhtrios. And this card, I want to put an emphasis on this, because yeah, it was made for Branded, of course, but a lot of strategies use this card. Actually, we saw during the last round that the Branded players were using it, and of course the Sky Striker players were also using it. And here we can see that in the Gimmick Puppet strategy, we still play the Fallen of Dhmhtrios and the Albion as well. And it was very interesting, because in this clip we see that we use the Fallen of Dhmhtrios in response to another card, but not to the effect of the field spell. And this is very important, because if we had used it on the field spell, well, it would have been done probably. But the interesting part is that now we can still recycle the field spell with the surprise, and indeed Eleonora recognized that and used it to then get rid of this field spell. So very interesting to see those small interactions, and the fact that yes, some little differences can just make a whole lot during a game. And then during the following part, and the second clip, we just see that, yeah, you have too many interruptions. You use the synchro to just put the monsters face down and chain, of course, the effect of the field spell, the acro key to get rid of the field spell, and you just win the game on the spot. So that was very interesting. And then we went to game 2. And during the game 2, I mean, it was very interesting to see that the Gimmick Puppet player decided to go first, indeed, which is sometimes a bit different. You know, sometimes you want to go second as a Gimmick Puppet player, but he decided to just try to put all his engine on the field, and it didn't really go well because we had the Fuvalos for Eleonora, and after a single Ghost Bell we had to pass turn, which was of course not was intended. But still we had a very good card, which was the Trap card, and the Trap card, I mean, this is such a strong interaction because you are able to just get rid of 2 monsters on the opponent field, and that came clutch because we see that on the third video, I mean, we had those 2 monsters, and we start very, very hard. We get rid of the monster on our field, and we activate Obedience Cooled, and this card has that one for a reason. We chain then the Sky Striker spell, the Hornet Drone, and all of a sudden we have 4 monsters on the field. So still, yeah, we get rid of 2 of them with the Trap card, but for the Yummy strategy, it is enough to try to just break the field and put some interruption on the field. So very, very, very strong moment in the game, and at that moment, I think that both players saw that it was done. It was literally a done deal. But after that, even after the interaction and the fact that maybe Eleonora saw that it was pretty won, we saw that it was not won indeed, because, I mean, we went through the 3 snatches, and it was almost impossible for Eleonora to just get the things done. At that moment, we book the monsters, of course, and we just think, okay, now we can just start our turn and end the game. That was it, but that wasn't it. And we saw that some small mistakes can just lead then to a lot more mistakes, and we saw that, unfortunately for Eleonora, I mean, this little thing just got into her head and led to a defeat. And I think that Dhmhtrios didn't expect that, but all of a sudden we were in the game 3. And in the game 3, we saw very, very interesting thing. The first thing was the activation of the inscription, the Graveskeeper's inscription, that we saw during some recent formats and was indeed in Eleonora's deck. Of course, to get rid of some Dracotales monsters and Dracotale strategies, but here it was also very interesting to see that it was used against the Gimmick Puppet strategy to try to get rid of the presence of those monsters and those effects in the graveyard. And on top of that, we saw that the opponent, I mean, that was such a hand, because we had the Fuvalos, which was, of course, a very good card. And on top of that, we activated the Impulse on the Hornet Drone. So Eleonora was not in a very good position. And after that, for Dhmhtrios, we even had another Mulch Army, which was the Purulia that we are going to see in a few seconds. And that was a whole lot. So Eleonora had to do like a half field, which is possible, of course, with Yummy. But, I mean, you give up on some interruptions still. And unfortunately, with the next turn, I mean, Eleonora added some very interesting cards, like the Apophis cards, which are, of course, a great addition. But the problem is that I think that she thought it was enough to negate the field spell, but unfortunately, we need another continuous trap on the field to just be able to negate it. And I mean, yeah, with the time that you can see, 7 minutes on the clock, it was pretty hard for both players to get the win. And you know, this is a thing that is very important. When you enter YCS, of course you need to get good with the deck, of course you need to know the meta game, but you also need to be very confident in the fact that you can manage time properly. In this case, that was not actually the case for those 2 duelists. But they will, of course, get back on track on the next round and try to win the next round to still get in the tournament well. That being said, that was the analysis for this game, but don't go anywhere because we are going to be back soon for the next round.